Back, baby.
Back.
Yeah.
3 deep. 3 the hard way.
Finally.
Rob
Full
Johnson,
strength.
Rashad. We here with y'all. Got some sports news for you. 3 the hard way. Dropping that knowledge. Talking about the games. Talking about what's going on currently in the NBA, NFL, and other sporting realms when it becomes prevalent to us. We got a good show for y'all today. We're gonna talk about Myles Garrett's situation with Mason Rudolph, all of that outlash, all the stuff that's come out after that.
Talk
Good
about
argument there. Colin Kaepernick, his situation with the NFL. Got some. We're gonna talk some NFL MVP as well. Also want to talk about NBA, how the season's going. You know, we got Melo back in the league, any defining moments
Of the decade?
of the decade. But before we even get into the defining moments of the decade, we're gonna talk about the Lakers and the Clippers making, basketball look like it's back in its regular realm.
Okay.
No, you wouldn't consider it that.
I think. I don't want to say the Clippers are making them back in the regular run.
I'm sorry, I said Celtics. I'm sorry, Celtics and Lakers.
I would say Clippers looking like that in the regular round.
Celtics and Lakers.
Oh my God,
Pardon me.
Clippers not about it. I
Clippers
mean, they're
is
about
the
it.
number one
But
team in LA, bro. Sorry.
no, they are not.
Sorry.
They're not.
Sorry to
They're
break
not
it
better
to
than
you,
Lakers.
bro.
No, they're not.
They
Lakers
are.
got the best record in the NBA right now. Just put it right that.
At the
We
moment.
put it on wax. We got
At
the
the
best record
moment.
in the NBA. Right
Not 2 days ago, y'all did, so we know how things fluctuate quickly.
We had a better
So
record than the
just
Clippers
make
2 days
sure,
ago.
make sure that you saying this right now. Get all of your oohs and
I'ma
ahs
get
and
it
all
on
that
wax
stuff
that
out.
we had a better record than the Clippers 2 days ago.
All
That's what I'm getting
And then
on
in the
wax.
beginning of the season, y'all didn't have a
That
better
was the
record.
only time.
I'm just telling you how
I'm just
things.
telling you.
This how things
This
change.
how it started.
This how it changed.
we
Quick.
gonna put a pin in this right quick. We're gonna start with the NFL stuff. Let's start with the NFL stuff. So Colin Kaepernick worked out for the NFL last week. That was right after we got off. Me and Rob and I got off the air. Colin Kaepernick had a workout. They actually changed the location. So 24 teams, I believe, was supposed to show up to the original location.
Yep.
And no teams.
I believe it was 8 teams that showed up.
To
There
the-
was the Chiefs, Eagles, Titans. There's a few teams out there, but my take on this, I just wish Colin Kaepernick would have planned this out a little bit better. I think his sentiment of wanting to make it a transparent process, I agree with that. Right, but if you knew that this was the case, then I think you should have did a better job of explaining to people where the new processes would be or what the changes would be, way before 3 hours before the deadline, because you essentially handicapped yourself. But I hope he should be on the roster at the end of the year. I'm not really too confident in that, and I think that the biggest takeaway for me was his tirade at the end of the whole thing, man. Like, I think he had an opportunity to really just take the high road in the situation, and he didn't for me, right? He kind of went back and doubled down on his point of what he was actually doing, and like if you want somebody to hire you, you shouldn't really challenge them in that way, for my opinion. And I think that's what I'm questioning if he's going to be on the roster at the end of this year. So, Cap, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I think this is also something that Jay-Z had in place, right? I think he influenced this process to happen, but I'm not too big of a fan of his aftermath of his comments at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though Cap, initially he probably was thinking, I just want to play football. He might have seen it as an opportunity once again to, like you said, double down on his point. I don't know, man. At this point, it's like I don't think that he wants to play football. At this point in time, he wants to play football on his terms. And in order for him to get in the league, he's going to have to sacrifice some of those things, and that was clear when NFL wanted to do a private workout. He wanted to do a public workout,
right?
And which is why he changed the venue. But when you do that, you lower your chances of hiring. So you made a decision. You made a clear decision. He's not breaking on his principles or his values, which I think is great. That's the sign of a leader and somebody who's leading a movement. But in order for you to be an NFL quarterback, you have to go with what the NFL and what your hiring employer wants, and they don't want that right now. So can I see Cap on the team? at this moment, especially like it's at the tail end of this, like we're in the middle slash end of the season, we're going down the final stretch. Who's gonna want to bring somebody along at the end of the season for about 4 weeks?
That's going to be a distraction.
It's gonna be-
He's going to be a
Pretty
distraction.
much.
Like what you showed me is like, no matter what you do, Cap, you're going to voice something. You're going to be the headline.
Yeah.
Whether we win, whether we lose, right? You're always going to be a part of it. And I think that's what scares NFL owners away.
I believe Cap had great intentions with this. I do think that he wanted to play football. I think he's always wanted to play football, but when you say he wanted to play football on his own terms, it was like that when he was with San Francisco. He didn't. He turned down the option initially, but that wasn't because of all the extra that happened afterwards. It was more about him feeling like he was worth something, and the kneeling took away from what they felt like he was worth. Granted, he wasn't really winning at the time.
No.
His last season wasn't a great year. It wasn't terrible stat wise,
No,
but
they wasn't winning.
it wasn't a winning. It wasn't winning ways, and quarterback play was partially was a heavy load of the burden.
That's how we judge our quarterbacks.
When-
Typically, like you got to win.
When he does now, here's my thing. I agree with him doing it publicly, doing it on his own terms. I wish that I don't like the timing.
Right.
I didn't like the timing of it from the beginning. 24 teams coming to see you at the end of the season.
On a Saturday.
You know, at the end of the season,
got games the next day.
who's really, no one's bringing you in to, the only teams that would really be bringing you in to me is veteran teams that are going to make the playoffs that need a veteran backup if someone gets hurt. Maybe the Eagles, just throwing some teams out there that may need,
I think
that
they
may
were
feel
there
they're
too.
going to go
Yep.
to the playoffs and have a backup plan, contingency plan if their quarterback gets hurt.
Yeah.
He didn't want them running the narrative that he was this or that, or he doesn't have the arm strength. He wants everybody to see it instead of the NFL just running whatever narrative they have and then going with it, because that's what they do.
Right.
That's what they do. So I get him going to the other facility. I like the fact that that other people were able to see it. I do not like what he said at the end. And I was trying to find an exact quote from him, but he said things like the NFL
I've
is
been ready
scared.
for 3 years.
I've been ready for 3
I've
years.
been denied for 3 years. Like,
And oh man,
Yeah.
and
Come on,
I hate
Cap.
I hate to bring it here, but I love my people. I love my people. And when we're fighting for something that seems obvious, police brutality seems like an obvious thing. What he was standing for, the whole kneeling initial start to it, it's an obvious thing to stand to do. I support it. I support it wholeheartedly. I have Kaepernick shirts. I know I support that shit. But we have to find a way to humble ourselves in some moments where humbling doesn't make it bothers the ego, but it's for a greater cause.
right.
And I understand the steadfastness in the kneeling, and I don't care what anyone says. This is who I talk to veterans. This is how they told me to go about it. I don't care what you guys are saying about it outside of this veteran stuff. This is what's happening in my community. This is what's happening in our world. I'm going to stand for it. Cool. All for it. You want to play in the NFL right now. 3 years later, you want to play in the NFL. You can't talk to people that you want to sign you because they don't
Tell them they scared.
They've already seen that they don't have to.
Yeah.
And tell
They
them
already
that
know
scared.
that they don't have to. 3 years, 3 years from the epitome of the situation, and he's still not on a team.
Business still going. Not saying
And
it's booming,
there's
but
been
it's still
stars that were way more in their prime or at the top of their game that have not come back. T.O. brings up when T.O. left the
Yeah.
league, he was doing sit-ups in his driveway. He's been field ready for the longest.
Yeah.
If they don't want you, they don't need you. So if it's about you coming back to the NFL, then you gotta humble yourself a little bit more in the way that you talk. You showed yourself. You showed your qualities. I believe that everyone understands that you're still gonna stand on your rock. Whether
Yeah.
if I get signed to any team, don't expect me to change what I was doing before I came in the league. I'm still kneeling.
Right.
Yep.
I'm still taking these interviews on. I'm not scared of anything. That's fine. But don't attack the people that you want to business with.
Mhm.
And I'm staying far away from the phrase "don't bite the hand that feeds you" because you don't need that hand. We've seen over those 3 years that you'll be fine too.
Like,
Yeah.
you still got the endorsements.
You still got the endorsements. You're still prominent in the communities. You're a bigger star than you ever was in the NFL before the kneeling.
So
Yeah.
I think the question is now is like
Does he make it back?
not even that. What's next for Colin Kaepernick?
I don't think the NFL is next for Colin Kaepernick. Not initially. I think he could come in. There's other leagues that are about to pop up. I know the XFL is talking about they don't want any gimmick old has-been players. We don't know what their organizations are like, you know,
Right.
from the back end. But I know the XFL, you know, there's other leagues to play in. If he's that good,
Yeah.
I would encourage him. And I encourage a lot of guys, like the same way they go overseas in the NBA. Yo, go play somewhere else. The NFL is the league, but there's other leagues.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay at home.
Just
You
don't
don't.
make much money.
If you really want to play football, so
You
is
don't
it,
need it, though.
is
You
it-
got
you're not going to
Nike.
make as much money, but
You got the Nike endorsement.
we're
bro.
also
You
talking about a guy that's
doing
going
the
to
job.
get endorsements.
Yeah.
Because you have to
Yeah.
pick a side with Colin, and that's what I love about Colin Kaepernick. You got to pick a side about what he stands for when it comes to the initial root of the situation, which is police brutality, the way that people are treated in the inner cities. You have to pick a side on that. I do agree with Stephen A. Smith's point where I don't have to agree with everything that he does when he goes about it.
Right.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that I've chosen the other side
Mhm.
because I'm critical of how he's gone about it.
Mhm.
And if I am in a realm of being critical as an analyst on this show right now, I'm critical about the timing. I don't like the timing of when whoever put it together, whether it be Jay-Z, the NFL, Roger Goodell, Colin Kaepernick, whoever put the initial plan of playing of in the Super, was the Superdome or was
I think it's somewhere in Atlanta. I think it
Yeah,
was
I
in
think
Georgia.
it was
Dome.
school.
No,
Georgia,
the
it was-
Mercedes-Benz Dome.
okay.
Atlanta.
Whoever put that together, the timing
should've
being
found
week some 12 or 12, 11 in the league, I think that's whack because he's not going to play this year. No one's signing into that wholeheartedly this year. And two,
Not,
I
especially
don't,
not after all this good stuff.
and even in hindsight, I don't agree with the way that I'm hypercritical about the way he went about his conversational piece after the workout.
I think that Jay-Z, I really have a gut feeling that he was behind it. But I felt like as soon as he signed that deal, he was pushing for it. And the reason why it was done this way with the timing is like, if not now, then never. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not going to happen. So let's see what happens. And this is what
That's
happened.
what happened.
And
And
that's
that's why I
why.
don't like the timing.
And that's why I say
This is something that should have happened in July.
it should have happened, yeah, before the
June.
season started. But
Jay-Z wasn't in before.
he was exactly.
And that's
So,
why you wait.
Yeah.
There's certain project, and I don't know how the conversations went about. Like we said, we don't know if it's Jay-Z that orchestrated this or architect this, but the way that it was, the timing behind it is so terrible. I would have waited. I would have
Mhm.
waited. There's always next year. We waited 3 years. We can wait a half more. We can wait to the
But
end of this season.
NFL is smart.
See where the
too.
quarterback situation is.
NFL is smart too. They knew what they was doing.
They don't want him in the league.
They knew what he was doing.
They don't want him in. They don't need Colin Kaepernick in the league.
Exactly.
That's one of the last things the NFL needed. This is the closest. The Colin Kaepernick situation, the kneeling situation, was the closest the NFL owners ever felt to actually having to deal with this cultural barrier that is clear as day, but they continue to act like it's a glass ceiling, like we don't see it.
Yeah.
That's the closest they've ever been to having to deal with it. We learned about how the military thing was all a hoax and that it's paid for. That's the only reason why the players are out there. They don't even have to come out there. Stay in your locker room. Some people are kneeling. You got to hear how some people really felt about the issues in the world. Donald Trump got on stage and started talking about kicking that person out, and then Colin Kaepernick got kicked out. We don't forget about things like that. This is they need that Band-Aid to heal.
Yeah.
To heal all of these wounds. They don't want Colin Kaepernick in the NFL. They
And
don't
that's-
need him in the NFL.
And that's why Colin felt like it was a PR stunt.
Mhm.
That's why he did what he had to do, because he was reading that too. So he made his
We'll
stance.
see.
He made his stance.
We'll see.
Well, so let's continue with some more off the field. Well, on the field.
On the field,
On
man.
the field, but
On the field,
A lot of the-
dirt.
off the field backlash of what went down last. Was that a Monday night? Game?
Thursday night.
Thursday night game. Last Thursday, between the Browns and the Steelers, Myles Garrett was suspended for the rest of the season. Indefinitely. He's at least for the rest of the season, and any playoff hopes that the Browns have. He has to meet with Goodell before he gets reinstated. Maurice Pouncey was suspended. Marquise Pouncey was suspended for the Steelers. Had a couple of suspensions, and we wanted to just debrief. John caught me in the store this morning. It was like I wasn't feeling how you felt, which was talking about when it came to
Wasn't.
Myles Garrett
I ain't like that.
last week. So
I ain't like that.
yeah,
So,
dive into it.
I was out last week, but I was looking at the show. You guys definitely brought up a lot of good points. I err on the side with Rob just in regards to the fact that I think that Mason Rudolph should have got suspended.
Suspended, bro.
Um,
Simple.
Now,
At least a quarter, a game, or a half.
Yeah.
Something.
When you are a part of interaction or an altercation, you have to be accountable for your part of the altercation and interaction. And I don't think that he was held accountable. So looking at the tape, yes, they're up by 14, right? It's the end of the game. Myles Garrett gets the sack. I mean, he doesn't get the sack because the ball was clearly out of his hand. He's trying to tackle him down anyway. Could it be excessive? Some people can say yes. Some people can say no. I'm not here to argue about that. What I am here to argue about is the fact that after he took him to the ground, number one, Mason tried to take Myles Garrett's helmet off.
Yep.
After that,
And was unsuccessful.
and was unsuccessful. After that, he then kicked him in his private area. Like, just, like, so, like, that right there, that's you reacting to a situation and not diffusing it, but escalating the situation. Then after that, your lineman comes and gets Myles Garrett off you, and you rush up to him. Like, for me, bro, I'm like, all right, now you want to fight. You know what I mean? At that point, I'm like, now you want to fight.
Fine.
However, I'm not dismissing or saying that what Myles Garrett did after that was acceptable. It wasn't acceptable. There's no way in the world where you have a man without a helmet on, you take his helmet and you try to swing it and hit him with that object. That's not acceptable, and that's almost like Todd said on the show. That could be considered a felony. It could be considered.
Not necessarily a felony,
but
but it's an assault.
It's assault.
can't-
Not a felony, but
It could have
assault.
went nasty.
He could have easily been hurt and
Seriously
hospitalized and seriously injured, right? So for those reasons, I do agree with Ty in regards that Myles Garrett's actions were egregious. They definitely were. However, Mason has a big part to play in it, and he should be held accountable. He doesn't get a suspension; he just gets a fine, and he was also played a part. He also played a part in this. Like that has to be addressed. That has to be addressed on my end. That's how I feel about it.
I agree that Mason was out of line as well, but I still stick to the sentiment that if you take away the helmet tossing, I'm sorry, not the helmet tossing, the helmet swinging at Mason Rudolph's head, everyone receives the same accountability. NFL, I watch our boy Barry on his show.
Shout out to the boy Barry.
Shout out to Barry Holmes.
Talk that talk.
The NFL still got it wrong. I'm not saying they got it 100% right.
Again, they always get it wrong.
It's a tough job. We were talking about the Grammys earlier. It's a tough job, man. It's a tough job to suspend people or to disciplinary action with adults in professional fields like this. However, if Myles Garrett does not swing that man's helmet, I don't think anyone gets suspended. If Myles Garrett does not tackle the man after a shovel pass, in which the ball was carried 7-8 yards from the receiver before Mason Rudolph hit the ground.
He don't see that, man.
He doesn't see that, but he knows that he's been holding on to this quarterback for a very long time and still trying to bring him to the ground in a game that they've already won by 14 and they've just sacked him twice before.
I'm trying to
And
get
you're
my
saying
sack
he's trying
now.
to get his too. Fine, but you didn't because I called the shovel pass. I'm sorry, I called the shovel pass.
Just because you
And
called a shovel pass don't mean you escape from this heat. You ain't out the clear yet.
I know John doesn't like to play the what if game.
Don't hate it.
You hate the what if game. However, I'm gonna play the what if game right now. If he cracks Mason Rudolph in the head with that helmet,
Yeah.
and let's say the emblem where the riddle part is,
Yeah.
that splits his head open.
Yeah.
Because a helmet is heavy,
Yeah.
and a 270, 280 pound man that works out for a living, swinging it, makes it that much more heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that cracks him across his head and
We
he
wouldn't be
gashes
having this
him
conversation.
for 15 stitches.
He would have been suspended in depth. Like he probably would have got kicked out of the league.
We're talking about, and again, I love my
Expulsion.
peoples. I love my
Yeah, he
peoples,
probably
but
would have got kicked out of the
let's
league.
be real. This is our show. Let me say it. Mason Rudolph probably would have filed charges. Felony charges. They would have walked Myles Garrett would be dealing with a felony case right now. Because he would have split that man open. Or the other end of the spectrum, not even the other end of the spectrum, but even worse, let's say he didn't split him open, but he knocked him out. Mason Rudolph again on the field with no helmet, out cold.
He would
twice in one
He would have
season.
been suspended. He would have been indefinitely. He might have had like a 3 or 4 year.
We be
suspension.
looking at a new Ray Rice, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
He would go away. One of the
go
best players in his position would just go away. Now, I'm not saying the situations between Myles Garrett and Ray Rice are the same. I'm not getting into that. That's not what I'm saying.
But
I'm not comparing. I'm just saying. I'm
understand.
comparing the fact that he wouldn't be around. We would not hear his name
Mhm.
3-4 years from now. 2023, the children coming into watching football for the first time would never know who Myles Garrett was.
Yeah.
Other than YouTube videos of him cracking the dude across the skull.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what in that moment, he crossed the line in a way where, as the NFL, yes, I have to discipline Mason Rudolph. Yes, I have to discipline Pouncey. Yes, I have to discipline the other guy that pushed him. Yes, I have to discipline anyone that was involved in that fight. But I care most about Myles Garrett and what he did to the league.
And you did handle that. They handled that. But what we're saying is the other guy, as well, should be handled.
Lastly,
You know how many times if you can go back and look at the Ray Rice case and say, well, you know what, we made a mistake here. You could do the same thing with Mason Rudolph.
facts,
We made a mistake, and he should be held accountable
facts,
because he was the one. He had a part to play in this as well.
a big part.
Because what you're saying now is that like the person who reacts is the person that's going to get in trouble. So that's what's going to happen. It's just like when you're dealing with
Disagree
law
with that,
enforcement
okay.
or with kids. There's always that instigator, right? Is you always got that instigator, and you never catch the instigator, but you always catch the person that's reacting. And you wonder why these things keep piling up. Like, you have to address the instigator. You have to, even if they wasn't the one who
initiated it.
I mean, he
Did initiate it. He did not initiate it.
I
I think that's an argument point that we're not going to agree on.
Why didn't he do an Andrew Luck and say, "Good hit, big boy"?
Because it's not a good hit after you dragged me for 3-4 yards. I thought I just got cracked 2 times in a row, and I got rid of the ball in time to not get hit.
So then here's my question: since you're playing the what if game, why didn't they just run the ball? Since they already down 14, why are you already got sacked 2 times in a row? 2 times, back to back, bang, bang. 10 seconds left.
30-29.
3rd and 29. Shovel pass? That's disrespectful to me as a defensive player.
Y'all
You
look-
trying my gangster.
Y'all
Bro,
look
I done
smacking
sacked
us
you
for
2
life.
times.
And you move your
Five.
I done
lineman.
sacked you 2 times.
And you move your lineman to go block up
Facts.
the field.
Facts.
Give me a clear line to your
Exactly.
quarterback.
And
So
I'm supposed to
disrespectful.
just, after y'all done punched us year after year after
we
year
did.
after year,
The Browns for a reason.
and this is a year where we're frustrated because we
It's
are
an
reaching
underdog
the
win.
expectations
It's an
that we
underdog
had for ourselves. We're not meeting those.
I hear you on that.
So,
I hear you on that. They run the ball, none of this happens.
right.
They run the ball, none of this happens. I agree with you on that.
And I love Mike Tomlin.
So you saying Mike Tomlin's to blame for this?
I'm saying there's a lot of blame to go around,
And
but,
Mason Rudolph
but
didn't
I
get his
think
fair-
the NFL got it
his fair
wrong
portion.
once again by
They got
not
it wrong.
disciplining Mason Rudolph accordingly. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, we're sticking to the NFL. We're going to transition into. It's been a lot of talk about this MVP race, man. And this man, I told you about my
Ravens is
boy
flying
from
high,
Louisville,
bro.
man.
Said- I
That
did
boy
too.
from Louisville is bad. Yo, let me say
Continue your
something.
point.
So
Continue your
for
point.
me,
Continue your point.
so for me,
So we talking
I
about
had-
what are we talking about?
we're talking about who's right now because we talked about who we had in the beginning of the season.
For what?
Who was our mid-season MVPs, right?
MVPs?
We had
Okay.
Russ.
We,
Russ.
and I had Deshaun Watson, and that man came into town and he made Deshaun Watson look really bad. I mean, the Ravens defense made Deshaun Watson look really bad. The Ravens defense is they got Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphreys, and Marquise Peters. All 3 of them are starting cornerbacks, bro.
And Earl Thomas.
And Earl Thomas back there, bro. I'm like, why Deshaun ain't throwing the ball? Yo, he's covered.
Because the defense is really
No,
was when the defense is raw. The Ravens defense is raw,
bro.
and they're allowing Lamar Jackson to shine in what he's good at. He doesn't have to drop back in shotgun formation 4 wide all game and throw the ball 40 times. His receivers have less yards and the same amount of receptions
Yeah, Michael
as
Thomas.
Michael Thomas, who Rob said was not as good as his contract earlier. And
He not the best player wide receiver in
I'll
football.
tell you right now, that man
that
catch
boy
everything.
balling. for
Yo, his
Teddy,
stance is
for
crazy.
Teddy and Drew, and Hill.
Julio the best wide receiver in
but
NFL.
they give the Baltimore defense gives Lamar Jackson,
Yeah,
Mark Ingram,
yeah.
Mark Andrews.
They can play Raven football.
They don't have to. And like John just said, Raven football, we had
have a style,
historically
bro.
we haven't had the best 1-2 punches at receiver. I mean, we've had opportunities where we had guys that were on the back end of their careers of names that we've known, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, but
Oh, you put your Ravens fan hat on right now.
nah, this is just lazy. This is actually shout out to my boy Christian. You know what I mean, this is Lazy Monkey Apparel. Got my boy first season on. I got his hat on too. Shout out to the boy making good clothing over at Lazy Monkey. Go grab some over there, y'all. But good a little plug. But nah, it's not my Raven Apparel. I'm happy that my team is successful as they are. I didn't expect them to be this good. I thought they would be good. I didn't expect Lamar to be this nasty.
Shout out to John Harbaugh, man.
Yeah.
He is nasty.
He made the decision mid-season last year to say, you know what? I got to risk it all right now. Because this wasn't a sure thing.
No, it wasn't.
Like, this
Wasn't.
wasn't the same narrative
I remember last year.
365 days ago.
I remember last year I was having this conversation with Ty,
Was it?
and I was like, "Bro, Flacco need to get benched, and Lamar Jackson should start." And he was like, "Yo, Flacco can still throw the." I'm like, "Bro,
Flacco can still throw the ball.
this." I'm like,
But
this,
he's
Sure.
into he's nowhere near what his best is not giving us anywhere near what Lamar's second year, first true year.
But
What
the
Lamar
thing
Jackson
about
does,
Lamar,
bro?
well, the thing about Lamar is that he doesn't have to beat you in the air, bro.
Mhm.
He gives the Ravens an identity, too, though.
Yeah.
Like, when you see the Ravens, it's like, all right, you know, we got to stop this run. There's going to be some crazy wild formations. And they got the big brawler in Ingram, and
Yeah.
they got the quarterback that can do it all. But then they also got the play actions and the schemes to hit you over the top of your head.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Throw deep.
Marquise Brown over the top.
but that's why I say that this team is built for Lamar Jackson. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
giving John Harbaugh a lot of credit, bro. Because,
For
like,
identifying
he
that.
revamped
So-
that team.
So is Lamar Jackson y'all MVP?
For me, as of right now, you can't stop him.
What about your boy Deshaun? He felt where's he stand in this race? Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun
It's
is
a two-man
right now.
race, man.
He's after Russell. So is Deshaun. I mean, it's Lamar and Russell Wilson.
So that's the
right now.
2-man game we
It's a
got going
two-man
on.
race for me between Lamar and Russell.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey, he be holding it down too, but the team has
It's
fell
pretty.
off.
I think yeah.
They
I think
fell off.
with them not winning,
Yeah.
these big games it's hurting Christian McCaffrey's stock.
And they're going to lose this week, too, because the Falcons.
We'll see about it. You want to make a bet? Yo, Amir, if you listening, bro, I'll take this bet.
So what? last week we spoke about this and we said that Russell Wilson hadn't done anything to lose the
it?
spot. So what is it that Lamar Jackson has done over the last week to gain the spot? Is
He
it simply
took it. What you?
He took it.
First
I'ma
off,
tell you what
he
he
beat
did.
the Ravens. He beat the Patriots, which is like that's like a Super Bowl win in of itself. Just
Bro,
And we
have you
still,
seen
and we
it?
still had him behind Russ.
Have you seen the Ravens last wins?
I did. I watched it.
Seattle?
yeah, we
Seattle?
do.
Games.
No, we
New
played the Bucs
England?
this week, my bad.
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
Well, I can't say Cincinnati.
But no, we also beat Houston.
And Houston.
Beat Houston
He
convincingly.
beat everybody
Oh,
else.
Put up some great
Put up
numbers
30
against
on the Patriots.
who was the team after the Patriots? I think it was the Bills, the Browns, Redskins.
No,
what are
no,
them
we
try
played a
teams?
good team. We
They went
played the
blood on, and then they just punched the Texans.
We played
Yeah.
a good team.
But the Ravens, I think that the reason why I'm moving him up on the list is because he played everybody. He's played people that was in the MVP contention and outplayed them.
Mm-hmm.
He outplayed Deshaun Watson.
So
He
It was
outplayed
the Bengals
Russell
who they
Wilson,
punched,
and he outplayed Tom
and they
Brady.
just punched the Texans 41-7.
who did they play right before them?
Patriots. That was last 2 weeks, and then they played the Seahawks and beat
That's what
them.
I'm talking about. The Seahawks. We beat Russ, and that's what.
Right?
So now
Yeah.
I'm back where I was. We beat Russ, and y'all didn't say so. We beat Tom, and y'all didn't say so. And we beat Deshaun,
It was the runs. That's what
and now
it
here you
is.
go.
It's the highlight.
So it's the
plays.
highlight plays.
No, I don't think it's the highlight plays.
It's the
It's the
consistency.
consistency of the wins. Right now, the Ravens, to me, honestly, is the best team in football. You can't stop them. Like, remember we talked about Belichick taking things away.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear what he said about Lamar Jackson? He was like, "We did all that we could do." He's like, he outplayed us. He outplayed us. They took away the short game, made him run. They had a field day running the ball against
Mhm.
New England. or he failed it.
Yeah, I think that goes back to John
Harbaugh, bro.
His
He
play
really
calling
just
for this team
revamped the whole entire team. He's like, you know what? We know Lamar Jackson is not drop back and pass 50 times a night. He could do it, like if it came down to it, but like let's utilize him at his best. Let's put him in some motion. Let's get him a running back that can rumble and bumble and can take the 3-4 yards so he don't got to get him. Let's put him in a situation where we're doing triple options, right? Like
the Heisman package.
right, the Heisman package. Let's utilize our tight ends, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mark Andrews, the best tight end in football.
right.
Statistically,
He's one of the best. He's having a really good year.
All right,
He's having a better year than the receivers, though. Like,
yeah.
and that's the genius of John Harbaugh. And it's crazy because he was a special teams coach. Like I would have never thought that when they hired him. He was really a special teams coordinator, bro. I think he's for the Eagles. Like, you go from special team coordinator to head coach of the Ravens.
But he's been successful since he's been there.
Yeah.
Absolutely a great coach. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Like, I think
He's stepping into that coaching realm.
it
of
might
great coaches.
be coach of the year
Mm-hmm.
for them. And I think it. I don't know. If LeBron James keep on going out having plays and throwing long bombs and stuff, like it's gonna be hard to discount him for MVP because he's probably gonna have over 1,000 yards. He's rushing. He's gonna have like around 3,000 yards passing. Like, and the Ravens are winning. They beat tough teams. Probably gonna win a division. It's gonna be hard to beat that unless Russell Wilson just goes on a tear.
Aaron Rodgers on the back end too. Don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers. His team is doing great. I think the more games they win, the more he gets into that conversation.
Yeah.
Ravens do have a tough little road ahead. They're still gonna.
They're
Their
a
playoff
tough
team.
road ahead.
Their playoff team. We ain't really say we was gonna talk about this today, but out of this AFC, with Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Lamar Jackson on the rise, and then you got Deshaun Watson. We're talking about 4 dynamic quarterbacks that are slotted to make the playoffs in the AFC. Who do you see coming out on top?
Due to the reasons that I named before, I got the Ravens.
Got the Ravens
bro.
coming out on top right now?
That defense,
I'm
and
reserving my
Lamar
judgment,
Jackson.
because I don't want to say it on wax.
I know what
That-
you're about to say.
That defense, Lamar Jackson, and Ingram,
Let's
and
go.
John Harbaugh.
I'm rooting for him.
I got the Ravens.
So y'all rooting for my squad?
I got the
Rooting
Ravens.
for my squad coming out?
That's who I
What
want.
happened
to
with
win.
the?
And don't forget, I was
what's
a
the
Lamar
what's the
Jackson
knock on
fan
the
before he
Chiefs?
came out of.
Because you were Mahomes earlier. What's the knock on you? Were Mahomes to the Super Bowl this year?
I
Are
do
you
want.
still there?
I'm not sold on their defense at all. I'm not sold on their ability to
They
stop the
didn't.
run.
They didn't add enough playmakers.
They fired their defensive coordinator, I believe, but then the Falcons. Sorry. Yeah, we played good defense this year lately. Good job. See, man, let's go, Falcons. I'm going to get y'all plugged on the show. Let's go, Dirty Birds. Get another W this week against the Buccaneers. But back to the Chiefs. Yeah, I don't see enough defense. Like, I think in the playoffs, there's going to come down to ball control. I think teams are really going to hone in on the fact that, like, all right, we can't keep on giving Mahomes this many possessions. And then at the same, I don't know.
They can't stop the run.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So
they
they
can't stop the
get
run.
the defense off the field,
Right.
which doesn't give Mahomes but so many opportunities.
Right, and that's how the Colts beat them. And I think that was like the blueprint for the NFL. It's like, oh, we can just run the ball.
And then everybody just realized, yeah, we can keep Mahomes on the sideline.
On the sideline.
For 30,
And then
30 to 35, 40 minutes of the game.
and Mahomes ain't looking the same. Like, he's looking good, but like he not throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns a night no more. Right, just keeping a buck with you. Like,
He's
I
coming
know
off injury.
injuries
Coming
and
off
all that,
injury.
but that's all those combined with the defense not being able to get off the field, with him not looking like I'm throwing 6,000 yards this year. I don't see the Chiefs advancing far in the playoffs. No.
Talking
So
about
let's go Houston. What was the issues with Houston?
Houston, for
Yeah.
me, is J.J. Watt got hurt. The defense hasn't been the
Yeah.
same.
Prepare for JJ Watt to get hurt if he
But the defense hasn't been the same. And the receivers that I thought was going to step up outside of Watts, what's his name?
Hopkins?
Hopkins.
Kenny Stills and them boys.
Can he
Fuller?
still? Fuller has
Boy,
to step
Will
up.
Fuller balling.
He
Fuller-
just got back. He just
Fuller-
got back.
Fuller
Okay,
just- yeah.
okay.
Fuller- I
So,
was expecting-
but Fuller
but-
back, that doesn't make that offense that much
It
more
is, but I'm
potent.
saying that I expected more from Kenny Stills. I thought that he was going to step up and be the number 2 guy, but he's going to be the 3 guy because Will Fuller obviously is outplaying him. Like, clearly, it's like heads and tails. Like he's clearly outplaying him. But and Deshaun doesn't know how to throw the ball away, man.
Yeah, nah, he's a yeah.
I watched him against that Ravens game. I'm like, bro, throw the ball
His
away.
gift
Throw
is
the
his
ball
curse.
away, bro.
Like, he's so good at breaking them down, like missing sacks
Yeah.
and avoiding the pressure and stepping up in the
Adding
pocket.
3 seconds to the
Right.
route. Yeah.
And it's like sometimes, and it looks so amazing that sometimes, like, dang. All right, you
Do
could've
the
just
simple
did it away.
thing, bro. Throw the ball. Bro, it was one play where he ran right, almost got sacked, got out the sack, ran left, ran back right. Nobody's open. They're like, okay, now you're gonna throw the ball away. Strip sack fumble.
Right.
What?
Right. That's what I'm talking
Throw
about.
the ball away.
Because he holds it like in a way where it's like out in a way like he's
about
really
to-
like
about to make a play with that thing.
yeah.
But he gotta just. Sometimes you gotta know when to just take the loss, bro, or just take the down.
And what's the problem with the Patriots? Patriots have a great defense.
Patriots ain't play nobody, and when they play somebody, a la the Ravens, they lose.
Yeah, John.
They win. They beat the Eagles, who are
The Eagles didn't have no receivers.
They did.
Aguilar in the back. He been doing it all season.
Oh man, he
Aguilar
caught one
beat-
in the back of the end zone, didn't get his feet right.
Yeah,
I've been dropping stuff
Oh
all season.
man,
they got no receivers. They still wait for DJ to come
catching
back.
everything unlike Aguilar.
All right. I mean, I feel like I told. Well, okay, you still on? I told you that the Cowboys is going to disappoint you. I told you that.
I got the
And
Cowboys.
I still got the Eagles
Got the
coming out
Cowboys
that
beating the
division.
Patriots this week, but we got a little bit of time. We did a lot of football talk, man. Let's get into the bread and butter. Let's get into this NBA, man. I don't got much to say. My teams aren't, I'm a OKC fan. Houston rooting this year because Russell Wilson. I know I follow players, so
Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook, excuse me, and Miami. I follow Miami because D Wade. So Miami's looking all right.
Miami's looking
Miami's
pretty
looking
good.
Like I've been
Miami's looking
saying.
Pretty
Miami's
good.
looking all right.
Let me say this. In the beginning of the season, everybody's like, "Oh, the East this, the East that, the East done fell off."
He's dead for.
East does not stand up to the West
At
this
all.
season, bro.
Let me say something. These Miami Heat looking pretty good.
Yeah.
He looking good.
Celtics looking pretty good.
Celtics look good. Bucks
Milwaukee
looking good. Even the Raptors looking
The
good.
Raptors looking good. However, the most disappointing team to me right now in the East, and y'all talked about last week, Brooklyn Nets
They won their last 2 or 3
without Kyrie.
without Kyrie.
Without Kyrie.
Now, I'm gonna say something.
I love
On
playing
wax.
devil's advocate here.
I'm gonna say something on wax. Kyrie might be the Stephon Marbury of our generation.
Oh my god.
Explain that statement, John.
So-
Elaborate, please.
So, peep this.
I like stuff like this.
Peep this.
I like stuff like this.
So-
yeah.
Y'all remember when Steph first got in the league? He was a guy. Everybody wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
Great talent.
Mm-hmm.
When it was his turn to lead, what happened?
Not a
He
damn
left-
thing.
They had
He went to the
very
Suns.
minimal playoff
He went to the
success.
Suns, got traded from the Suns,
He had one shot
right?
with the Suns. In
Went to the
game
Suns.
1 and lost to the Spurs.
JK goes to the, who goes to the Suns?
JK.
JK goes to the Suns, better team,
Uh-huh.
right?
And he got
Got
sent
traded from the Suns, Nets. JK goes to the Nets. Who a better team? Nets are a better team. Kyrie, I'm sorry,
They
bro.
went to New York and they went to the playoffs with like a 34-48 record or something.
34
like that.
48 record.
Steph,
and then,
Steph brought y'all to the playoffs too. Don't say it.
They
One
were,
year.
I'm saying they were like
And that-
34-48.
and to me,
They were
And they
terrible
lost to
that
Jason
year.
Kidd.
They lost to Jason
and to me, Kyrie's year in Boston,
Okay.
right, is similar to that Nets team. I mean, to that Knicks team, right?
Okay.
The Celtics
They
this
had
year,
all them names.
the Celtics this year are better with Kemba. And who's a better talent? Just be honest. Who's
Kyrie's
better
a better
talent?
Kyrie's the better
Kyrie's
talent.
a better talent than
Are the
Kemba.
Nets all right? The Nets aren't as good as they were last year with D'Angelo to start the season.
Yeah.
But can you really say Boston is better than Boston was last year?
I'm
Because
gonna tell
Boston
you why. Boston
was
was
pretty
at,
good last
before,
year to start.
before Kemba got hurt. Actually, before the last 2 games, who was the best team in the East?
I hear you, but that's
Boston.
only 13 games. Only 13
Boston.
games.
We gonna
I
see it.
was-
right?
I
They
agree
look,
with
they
you.
look
Continue.
better. They
I
look
agree with
better.
Stephon Marbury, Kyrie.
They look better without him.
They look like a more
It's
cohesive
like
unit.
it's
Yeah.
like I said with Odell Beckham, addition by subtraction. Like they are playing better without the ball. Yo, Marquise Smart shot 11 threes last night.
I think he leading that team in assists.
Marquise Smart shot. What are that? Marquise Smart shooting threes?
He been shooting threes.
No, I'm saying 11?
11
Nah,
years.
them not.
11?
He would never get
With
that
Kemba
opportunity.
there? I mean, with Kyrie there? It's not happening, bro. They just look. I feel like players feel more comfortable.
Yep, leading their team in assists.
Players feel more comfortable
12 points.
playing without Kyrie than with him.
I'm gonna
I
say
think-
this. I'm gonna say this. I think this is a better fit for Brad Stevens to coach, right? I said this last week. I think that the Celtics, Brad Stevens flourishes, and the Celtics flourish when it's off-ball movement. You don't know where the scoring is going to come from, right? People, a bunch of not really superstars, but really good role players, right? Maybe people who could be superstars. Like
And then he
Tatum,
got blessed
Brown.
and got. I feel like that's Brad Stevens' coaching style, and then he got blessed with guys that are actually talented and brought into that. But continue.
Right. Okay, I agree with that. Like Horford.
Right.
Like Horford. That's a prime example of that.
Gordon Hayward.
And then this team,
Mm-hmm.
without Kyrie, Brad Stevens like, okay, well, this is what I want anyways. Because Kyrie a headache.
Mhm.
I got to worry about him going nut because he can take anyone at any time.
Mhm.
And I have to allow him to do that because that's what makes him great. And
Right.
with this team, I can say we need this set. And they're like, okay, coach, we understand that this set is a better idea than Kimba going one-on-one 20 times a night.
Mhm.
So I think
And Kemba also can play off the ball.
Kemba has a way better flow of the game.
Kemba can play off the ball. Kemba doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to score, bro. I seen him
He doesn't have to
run
have the ball in
plays
his hand to be effective.
to
and
be
that's the
effective.
difference.
But I've seen them run plays for Kemba to come off his screens, like double screens down, and stagger screens into it, and then he can still beat you 1-on-1. He can still hit you in a pick and roll situation.
All right, let me jump in here with my conspiracies now.
Go ahead, Ty. What's your conspiracy?
It's not a
in this
conspiracy,
one?
but
What's your
I
boss
think
conspiracy?
what makes Kemba better for the Celtics is Kemba's got the opportunity to be Kobe already. He's got the opportunity to be Mike. He spent 8 years in Chicago, in Charlotte, with no one.
Mhm.
And he had to be the guy. And there were some years where they looked like they was going to do it, and there was a couple years where they even made the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, they looked like, hey, this might be a okay team. But okay has always been his ceiling. There was never a time we said, oh, yeah, Charlotte is a championship contender. They might win the East. Never.
Mhm.
Kyrie, on the other hand, has a history of wanting to be Kobe. You said on this show when we were talking about Kyrie when he first got there, if there's anybody in the league you want to have in crunch time with the ball in their hands, it'd be Kyrie Irving. And I don't disagree with that. However, Kyrie Irving is not the guy that only wants the ball in that situation. He's not Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups will score 14 points for the whole game.
Right.
And then down the stretch,
Yeah,
hit
true.
2 big threes in the game with 21, 23 points, some free throws, and be happy with that dub. You just said it a second ago, and I agree with this. Kyrie can take his man at any time, and he knows that, and he feels that.
Yeah.
And in Brooklyn, we love that stuff,
He's gonna amp it up.
but it's not gonna win you games.
Yeah.
So,
Took an L.
and we also got to see with Kyrie with the whole LeBron thing. He had it made. LeBron was gonna allow him to take
Yeah.
20 to 25 shots a game. It's me and you, bro. Kevin Love take the back seat.
Yeah.
It's me and you. But it's me and you. So when it's real, when it's 96, 98, 2 minutes left in the game, I might be bringing the ball up 4 times in a row. You might have to stand over there. Or you know what, you got Steph on you. You got a mismatch, a clear mismatch. Because to you, everything is a mismatch. But to you, we have a clear mismatch.
Right.
We're going to give you the ball and run pick and roll with you. But if you miss 2 shots, I'm missing the next
yeah.
couple shots.
I'm
I'm
missing five.
making the next couple decisions.
Decisions.
LeBron didn't always shoot it, but I'm making the next couple of decisions.
Yep.
Kyrie didn't like that. Kyrie wants to be the guy. And then you team up
Yeah.
with someone that I've been saying all the time, my whole sentiment, even when he wasn't OKC, who's also not an alpha, and it seems perfect. Even if Kevin Durant was on the court, I don't have Kevin Durant is not going to demand those shots. He can get them off.
Yeah.
But he's not. We saw with Russell Westbrook. We saw with Steph Curry. He's not going to demand those shots. Draymond got to be in his chest like this for him to step into. You know what I mean? It's for him
Yeah.
to step into that light. He can hit any shot he wants. But with Kyrie on the team, Kyrie also is going to have the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to make these decisions. I'm Bron. You're Kyrie.
And this goes back to me saying
So-
Stephon Marbury.
And
Because
that's
I
why I like
remember-
what you said. That's
I
why I like it
remember
so much,
when
bro.
Steph was the one that was, I'm going to make this shot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But does that translate to wins? You can do all of that. You can be the alpha guy, but if it's not translating to wins, then you got to adjust your game.
He's still in the I want to be Kobe mode. He's deep into his career. He's already won championships. It's different for him than it is for Kemba. Kemba hasn't won anything yet.
Championship, right.
He's won a championship. He's been to a champ. He's been to 2. He's been to 3.
Okay.
Played in 2. Because he played in the first one and got his knee tore up. So he's been around in those moments. Now he wants to be the guy to get them to those moments. So last year in Boston, I got guys, but I didn't perform. I need another superstar that can perform consistently. So when I am having my off nights, I still got 30 points in the bag with KD. But down the stretch, if I'm hot, I can go for 50 with KD on my team. We saw it with Russ, we saw it with Steph, we saw it with Clay. KD will take the back seat in those roles.
Yeah.
He's not an alpha. He's not demanding the ball, whereas Kyrie is an alpha. And he didn't want to play with the other alpha, LeBron James, because he had it made.
Mhm.
He had it made. Now you got, you know who else had it made? Stephon Marbury with Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Had it made.
That's what I'm
That's why
saying.
you're saying.
That's what
That's
I'm
why I
saying.
like it.
You want to leave. You want to leave. You want to leave the big dog, and you want to leave by yourself. It's not translating to wins, bro. So you have to turn that into. You have to translate that to wins. And to me, just looking at his career, when he was with Duke, he was winning, right?
He ain't played 11
He
games,
played-
right? He played 11
Now
games.
let me finish. He was winning. He only played 5 games.
It was 5 or 5.
Sure, something like
5,
that.
11
Like
games.
8,
He only
something
played
like
5, 11, 8 games, right? Rookie year, sophomore year. Rookie year, second year pro, third year pro, was not winning.
Nope.
He's scoring. We
Scoring,
knew him.
right?
Who Drew?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew him.
Bron gets there.
Tough in the clutch.
Bron brings the culture.
Of winning.
Bron brings the philosophy. Bron brings the mentality of how you're supposed to win. Bron leads. Right? I'm tired of being the sideline. I think I can lead now. Sorry, bro. You can't. If you can't win with Brad Stevens as your coach, I'm sorry, dog. I'm
But
sorry.
they won though.
I'm sorry. He was dysfunctional there.
Yeah.
He wasn't
He
happy
didn't
there.
fit. And when,
He
and
didn't
when they
fit
lost
there.
to Milwaukee,
just
he
fucked
was the one that they wanted to come down the stretch, and he was missing. Layup King was missing layups. Crossover King wasn't creating no space.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm not knocking Kyrie. I'm just saying this. There's another level of his game that he has to reach.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily
Individually.
it's not.
It's about
not.
the sum of the parts being greater than the whole.
And then
Exactly.
now here's my other part to this. Imagine, I'm gonna say this all season. Imagine if they would have signed with the Knicks. I do not feel like they were ever planning on signing with the Knicks. Imagine if this was going on the other side of the bridge, bro.
Mhm.
This was happening in Manhattan
Oh, yeah.
with Kyrie
it was
and Kevin
talking about
Durant on the
firing,
bench, and you
trade
got
him.
Dinwiddie and all these
It was
other
the Knicks trying to fire
Trade
Fizdale though. Like,
I got an insight to that.
I'ma
I got
tell
a
you
little
what it
insight to
is.
that. And
It's New York City media. It's New York City media. There's no reason why we should be talking about firing Fizdale.
At all.
We knew what we was getting
Exactly.
into at the beginning of the season. You
he
signed
knew it was a rebuild. And y'all
umpteen
mad because
power
y'all rebuilding?
forwards, bro.
Like-
umpteen power forwards, bro. And we don't have a roster right now where we can say that we're expected to.
No, at
We're
all.
in rebuild mode.
At all.
We're in rebuild mode, and we have to learn. He has to learn his pieces. That's what he's doing. That's why he's shuffling between Frank Ntilikina and
Dennis
between
Smith Jr.
Dennis Smith Jr. That's why he's playing around with RJ being at the point guard. That's why he's playing around with my man Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench and Bobby Porter starting or whoever starting. But who has been consistent, bro? Your Kansas product. He's been consistent. One of the Morris twins. I don't know. Is Marquise?
Bro,
He's been balling,
it's just
bro.
Kansas, bro.
I'm gonna say this though.
ain't nothing.
This is why they're talking about firing Fizdale. Yes, it's a rebuild team that's supposed to be competitive. I don't think they were looking for a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 draft pick this year. They wanted a big piece that can help, but I don't think they expected to be the worst team in the league. 1, to get one of those picks. 2, it's other parts of the coaching. It's the effort. They were up on Philly by 15 points. They held Philly to not scoring a basket for 6 minutes going into the second half. The third quarter, Philly didn't score the first 6 minutes of the game.
Philly.
If you can bring that intensity, there's no reason you lose that game. You
Right.
can't lose that game. You cannot lose that game.
Unless you're going against the best center in the NBA, and I've got no question for it.
What I'm trying to say, we do have a question for it because Mitchell Robinson's supposed to be our stand. We expect to keep him,
Supposed to be.
but we expect
He ain't it.
for Fizdale and for
He's not
anybody
the-
else,
he-
regardless
It's
of
very
that.
few centers who can guard Joel Embiid, bro.
I got you on that. I hear you on
Not
that.
there yet.
But we can stop them. They come out with their starters to start the third quarter, and we stop their starters for 6 minutes without scoring. God damn, we got to win this game. That's how I'm looking at it.
I agree with that.
From a fan
That game, I
standpoint. We
thought
gotta
we
win
won.
this
Because of that,
game.
I
he
thought we
gotta
was
go.
winning.
He gotta go because we lost
We
to
don't got no
Philadelphia.
effort. Where's the effort? That's the things that Christian was talking about last week. There's no effort, and that's part of coaching too. If I'm gonna build this culture, and half of these guys are gonna be around,
It's hard to
three
build
or four of
culture.
these guys I plan on keeping around, and I don't have them fighting to win the games. What the hell am I doing? I don't need this guy. I need somebody that's gonna be able to still will my team to win. We still got a season to play.
I still
got
feel
a
like
season
it's
to play.
too early to be talking about firing Fizdale based off of the team that he has.
My
Now,
thoughts
with
is
that
putting
being
some
said,
fire
wait,
in his
with
ass
that-
after they
with
lose
that
to
being
Philly
said,
like
with
that.
that being said, they definitely should have won that Philly game. I remember watching it, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna win this game. Like, what happened? We was up by 15. What's going on? And like Todd said, in the third quarter, it was locking up.
This is what I'm
So
saying.
So where's
locked
that
up.
down the stretch?
This is
Because it
what
was
I'm saying.
when's
This is
that
what
down the
I'm
stretch?
Now, wait, let me say
Can't lose
this.
that
When
game.
you're playing with young players who don't value the basketball because they was turning the ball over in that game too, especially down the stretch, and don't know how to close games out, that's a part of the process. You're going to lose games like that. You're going to lose games because you're supposed to win. That's a part of the process. So talking about firing him, bro, it's like he's teaching them. Don't fire the teacher before he finishes his lesson.
And this is what I'm.
And then try to bring somebody
Right.
else. Don't Mark Jackson, my guy.
And
You
for
know what
me,
I mean?
it's
like,
like-
let him do his thing.
The Knicks knew that this is a rebuilding year. Y'all didn't sign y'all big pieces. Y'all didn't get the big draft pick, right? Y'all got all these role players. And then you expect to win? Like, no, you expect. What does rebuild mean to you? To me, it means we going to suck this
So
year.
you do understand that they did not start the season in we're rebuilding. That's not the sentiment that was heard around
Well-
New York. The sentiment was we're going to be a competitive team this year.
And they have been a competitive team. They just lose. They've been in close games, bro. They
Yeah.
played the Spurs tough.
Yeah.
They made
Spurs are 5-10.
I don't give a damn. That's still a team that you can compete against.
Yeah.
You
right?
guys got punched by
they were
Cleveland.
in the game with Philly.
You can't get
They were
punched
in the
by
game with
Cleveland.
Philly.
You can't get punched by Cleveland. I'm talking about effort now. I understand that they're not going to win
But
these
my
games,
thing is-
but you can't be losing by 30
My
to
thing is,
Cleveland.
you can't fire him. You can't say this is the reason why we're losing because you're gonna say, okay, you fire him, throw away all his systems, new person come in, and it's gonna be the
Same thing.
same exact problems.
Same thing, bro.
And then you're gonna be like, oh, it's the coach.
Same
No, you need to let them grow,
Let 'em
bro.
grow, yep.
Let them grow.
And that's
the
the problem with
understanding
working in
needs-
New York.
the understanding is
The
if you
understanding needs
rebuilding,
to-
y'all
need to-
suck.
They need to lower
Simple as that.
expectations.
Simple as
But
that.
expectations shouldn't have been where they were when
I don't
they started.
understand.
My
who-
expectations
who-
for Knicks is
who
gonna be
said it?
sorry this
I'm
year.
trying to figure out who said fire Fizdale because whoever said that, I don't know what you expected from him.
Facts.
Like, what was you expecting?
I would. And I'm saying this. I'm playing along, but I wouldn't fire Fizdale right now. I wouldn't fire him, but for the same simple reason that we're gonna suck anyway. Let's
Exactly.
keep a decent. We have a decent
Exactly.
coach that's here to stay.
At least he's going to
Let's-
mentor
let's-
the players,
let's suck
teach
with
some
him.
sets, whatever the case may be. I mean, but
Yes. Talk about them Lakers, man. Let's go to the West right quick. We got a couple minutes.
what you want to talk about?
Lakers
man?
lead. Lakers have the best
looking
record now.
really
in
good.
the NBA.
Lakers looking like we going for the gusto this year.
Lakers look really
boy.
good.
Is there any team in the West that you
Absolutely.
see as an issue for the Lakers right now?
I told you already.
The West is tough.
When them Clippers get healthy,
Clippers are healthy.
The Clippers are healthy right now.
they are load managing.
They're gonna load manage.
They're going to
all the
load
way through
manage
the
all
season.
year.
Right. So when they get to the playoffs, when they are 100%,
No, they're not going to be 100% strong because we saw last year when Kawhi was load managing, he definitely wasn't 100% in the finals. Don't sit here and think that he's going to go to back-to-back finals and be 100%. No.
Maybe.
No. Because he was load managing last year.
That's the purpose of doing it, though.
That's
Exactly.
The purpose is to play, not to be 100%. That's the purpose.
well, when he plays in the finals, I think this Clippers team, with everything that they're doing right now, you seen the game last night, right?
Mm-hmm. I think the Clippers.
They take the Lakers.
I think the Clippers and the Lakers are both a piece short. But if I were to say who can win right now, I don't see nobody answering Anthony Davis. My man's having a great year, and it's so like amazing to me that's being swept under the rug.
I think.
Like,
mean,
like, he's
I
having
was-
a
I was-
great.
I don't think it's being swept under the
years.
rug. I think I've seen some polls, the early polls of MVP candidates, stuff like that. He's right there, sitting outside the top
My
five.
man's leading us in scoring,
Mhm.
but the only thing you hear about is LeBron James.
I don't think I don't think
Because
Anthony
LeBron
Davis
averaging
minds
11
that.
assists, bro.
I
feel
think
you.
And 7
LeBron
rebounds.
gives
And
Anthony
that's why I
Davis
feel
the
like he's gonna be
opportunity to
better
just play. He gives him the opportunity to just play,
Good.
just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Clippers issue, where my issue with the Clippers is going to be, especially against a team like the Lakers, is I get Harold is good. You got Harold off the bench. He's pretty good. Jermichael Green, he's pretty good.
Pretty
Still
good.
got Lou Will.
Now I'm talking about the bigs because that's where I see the issue with the
Right,
Lakers.
and that's what I was.
Last night, going down the stretch, they had Pat Beverly, Paul George, Lou Will, Kawhi Leonard, and Marcus Harold on the court.
Mhm.
That is not going to work against the Lakers. If you got to go bucket for bucket against the Lakers with that lineup, you are in trouble.
But this is why
If I gotta go bucket for bucket against the Lakers, well, who was you said? Harold.
Harold at the 5, PG and Kawhi,
Mhm.
Lou and Pat.
I'm definitely taking that lineup. Reason why?
Down the stretch against the
Because of
Lakers?
this.
What?
This.
Ain't gonna
This
be
is
none of
why-
this.
This is why I
Hey,
said
length.
Feed.
This is why I said-
Feed.
The length.
Post. Help. If you don't help, it's a basket. If you do help, I got shooters. Danny Green over here. Because I don't like
listen.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Exactly.
I got
was say,
I got
you
LeBron slashing.
Avery Bradley.
I got Avery
You
Bradley.
got Avery Bradley.
I take that.
Who's a
This is why I
spotty
say we're a
shooter?
piece
And I
of-
can double
He's a-
down to Dwight. I can double down to any of the
Everybody is a
bigs.
spotty
That's why I say we're
shooter.
a piece of
You
work.
got Rondo who's a
We need a
spotty
point
shooter.
guard.
You got who else? Contavious Caldwell-Pope who's a spotty shooter. And I seen Danny Green go cold plenty of nights.
Cool.
Plenty of
I'll
nights.
give you that.
So, and that defense, the way that Doc River has it, I remember if you remember watching the Celtics play. When these dudes swarm, they swarm. And they remind me exactly like that Celtics
Yeah, they
team.
swarm,
They
they swarm.
close out and everything, bro. They're going to overhelp. They're going to close out. They can switch. They're going to turn the ball over. You know Kawhi Leonard always
My
good
thing
for one
is-
of these.
My thing is, we're gonna kill them on the boards. We're gonna kill them on the board.
A bunch of shooters.
Bunch
Kawhi
of
Leonard is
offensive
the only
rebounds.
automatic shooter over there.
And like,
Paul George.
Not
and this is-
automatic.
This is why
Not automatic.
I still think
It
in
was
the 7-game
4-15
series
last
we
night.
will win, probably in 7, depending on if we get home court. And which is bring me to my next point. Why I think the Lakers are going to win a championship because we're going for the number 1 seed. I have no doubt in my mind that we are going. That's our goal. So LeBron James could get an easy first round. The easiest first round. I know it ain't gonna be hard. I mean, no, it's not gonna be easy, but he wants to smooth this route to the finals, which leaves the Rockets and the Clippers
Fighting 2-3.
hopefully fighting for 2-3, and then they beat each other up in the semifinals, and then we play
They're
the winner
gonna
of that
have
in
some
the
games.
conference finals, and that's why
If I,
I think the Lakers gonna win the championship.
if I had to choose between
Because the
Rockets
Clippers
and
are losing
Let me
right
say this.
Because the
If
Clippers
If
are
the
losing.
Lakers have to play Dallas,
We'll click up on Dallas.
Yeah, that's a dub.
I want to see it.
We done did it already this year.
You went into OT with Dallas.
okay? Who
Gave
the
y'all
W?
won.
Okay.
But what I'm
Aight,
saying is this:
good.
you acting like it's gonna be a
Aight.
walk in the park. Ain't no walk in the park over
First
here.
off,
Who
Forgot
match up
LeBron's
with?
track record.
No. Don't.
I ain't forgetting LeBron's track record.
I got you right here. When the last
I
time?
remember he lost to
John,
Dallas,
John,
too.
Let me ask you a question. When the last time KP went to the playoffs? When the last time KP went to the playoffs?
If he never went to the
When
playoffs,
the last time Luka went to the playoffs?
never,
Dwight Powell?
never,
Jalen Brunson?
never.
Exactly. So you're banking on a bunch of players who have never been to the playoffs before.
When the last time
against a
AD
team-
played? When the last time AD went to the playoffs?
He been there.
Mad time.
He been there. Double clutch.
When's the
over
last
KD.
time he been there?
2 years ago.
Exactly.
Okay.
When's the last
And they
time
went to
Avery
second
Bradley
round.
been there?
2 years ago.
Exactly. When the last time Rondo been
A whole
there?
bunch of people that
2
want to
years
get back,
ago.
bro.
I'm trying to say.
Now let
Whole
me
bunch
ask you a
of-
question.
Not even.
No. Let me ask you a question. No. Let me ask you a question. When the last time Luka Doncic been to the finals?
When he won the MVP
No, the
in the
NBA
EuroLeague.
finals. When the last time
That boy's
Dorian
19,
Finney-Smith
boy.
been to the finals?
Never.
When the last time any player of the Mavericks been to the finals besides
Never.
JJ Barea?
Never.
Bronny been to the finals. Rondo been to the finals. Danny Green been to the finals. Avery Bradley played in multiple playoff minutes.
Hey.
Dwight Howard made to the finals.
Hey, you remember that
JaVale
time?
McGee made to the finals.
Remember the time the
I
Warriors?
don't even like him.
Remember the time Warriors went to the finals?
I'm just saying.
And
playoff
it's a
experience,
first time for everything.
No.
I'm telling you,
The point-
there's a first time for everything. They
And the
got
first
Rick
time the Warriors
Carlisle.
made to the playoffs, they lost to the Clippers.
Let me tell you something right now.
So what did you say?
Rick Carlisle will out coach
No.
Frank. What?
No.
Rick Carlisle will
Not
out
with
coach
that
Frank
team.
Vogel
Not with that
any
team.
day.
Not with that team.
Any
But
day.
it's not
We
about
gonna
the
see.
coaching, bro.
Not with that
It's
team.
not about the coaching.
We're
They
gonna
don't-
see,
they don't got
and
the
that's
roster.
why I think the Clippers gonna beat them too, because Doc Rivers gonna out
You
coach
think JJ
Frank
Barea
Vogel
got
too.
another 16 off the bench for you?
I think JJ got a last miracle run.
Please.
Got that Dallas Mavericks.
Please.
No, John.
Dallas
The only
Mavericks
reason-
run.
the only reason he's on the court
Nah,
is 'cause he played for
I'm
Dallas.
nah. I think the Lakers could beat Dallas, but I think that it's gonna be a good series. I think that would be a good series.
I got Houston disappointing one of those teams.
That's the team I'm scared of.
And even if they don't disappoint, they're going to bring them to the brink where if they don't get an easy next round,
They're gonna be so worn
it's going to be
out.
tough. It's
Yep.
going to be tough for any team that has to go through Houston in the
Mhm.
second round
Mhm.
and then face
And
the
we
Lakers
still
or the
sleeping
Clippers.
on teams like Denver.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm
But
trying
I
to
don't
I'm
think
trying
the
to
Suns
say
gonna
is-
make the playoffs. I'm
what
just
I'm
telling you
trying
that
to
right
say
now.
is, I don't think Suns make the
If
playoffs.
Christian listening, you
Those teams are
gassed
gonna,
him up,
Houston is
bro.
going to beat somebody.
Suns
and
is
they're not winning
nothing
all.
but a hot ball of gas. That's why they call
Here's
the
what I'm saying.
Suns.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Gas.
About the Clippers. I'd rather. I mean the who used to say the Nuggets. I'd rather play and get beat up on by the Nuggets in round 2 or round 1 than have to go through the Rockets, then the Clippers, then I don't. I want. Let me play the Suns round 1 right now. Then
I hear you.
Then let me
but
play.
I think to John's point, that second round not going to be easy no matter what.
It's not gonna be easy, but it's not gonna be. I'd rather it be
Can I say to you-
versus
Versus who? Versus
Whoever-
Dallas? What if
whoever
what
it
if it's
is.
Portland?
I don't care. I'd rather that beat up than a beat up than the beat up of
If it's
the
Portland, it
matchup
ain't gonna be
between the
easy.
Rockets and the Clippers. That's what I'm saying.
You saying you don't want to play both teams?
No. It's gonna be
Nobody
hard-
wants to play both
It's gonna be hard to beat all 3 of those teams. Any team playing in the playoffs is gonna be hard to beat all 3 of them. Any team. So I guess in my theory, is whoever plays.
Whoever gets that 1 seed?
Whoever gets the 1 seed?
Like not whoever gets the 1 seed, but let's say the Lakers get the 1 seed, Rockets get the 4 seed, right? And then the Clippers get the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Clippers got the easiest route because they don't got to play nobody to the Western Conference Finals. To me, because the Lakers had to go through the Rocket.
That's what you saying. The Western Conference Finals. That 4 seed is not going to be no slouch.
That's why I'm hoping.
Denver ain't no walkover team.
I'd rather play Denver than the Rockets or the Clippers.
That's what I'm saying.
And
I
that's
hear
the
you
point
on
I'm trying to make.
Yo, everybody, we had fun. I had fun.
I have fun.
I had
I had
fun
a great
today.
time. I hope y'all enjoyed our show.
We might have a Thanksgiving special.
Yeah, we may not be. We still figuring out what's going to happen. We're going to be in this. Well, 2 or 3 of us is going to be down south, South Carolina. We're going to see what John up to. We're going to see if we can do a show down there.
Yeah.
Let you guys
We
know.
might do a little something. We'll see.
But that was 3 the Hard Way episode 17.
Oh, I got one more thing. Philly look good, but they looking shaky the last couple of
Yeah,
games.
Philly
bro.
looking shaky.
Philly looking shaky.
All right, we ended on the city of brotherly love. It's 3 the Hard Way, y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Brad Bill, keep balling, baby.
Suns is. Yeah.
Sons of the facade.
Hot ball of gas.
It's the desert. You think you see some water. It's
Bro,
just
y'all
the suns.
bugging. Whoever has to play against